Hello, family and friends. I love you and I want to encourage you today. Being human means that we have stuff going on. Some of us have been through some hard things. Some of us are right in the thick of it. And don't worry if you're in the clear right now. Your turn is coming. But you can thank God for resolving a situation before it's resolved in your life, because Jesus resolved it before you ever came on the scene. Jesus is the Lord of time. He is in charge of time. It's all the same to him. As humans, we're so linear. We're so tied to what's linear: past, present, future, infant, child, adult, problem, solution, gratitude. But he goes back and forth in time. He encourages us to do the same. He's got this. He's put all things under his feet. So can you. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We bandy that verse about, but can we grasp what it really means? The same God that whispered in Joseph's ear when he was in jail in Egypt. He whispered, "I've got this. I've got you." He's whispering in your ear today, "I've got this. I've got you." There is a difference between not being able to sleep because your baby's crying and not being able to sleep because you're not sure if your baby's coming home. And I'm not about comparative suffering. We feel what we feel, but I've had both those experiences, and I'll take the crying baby every time. It's so straightforward. The cries are information, and eventually that baby's gonna get to sleep. But we're not sure if the child is coming home. But there's another perspective. A parent that wishes they had a child to worry about, or to get in trouble, or to soothe from tears. And that happened to me. We had some good friends. They lost a child, and one of my kids got in detention in grade school for testing out the acoustics in the boys' bathroom. He was just going for it at the top of his lungs, and so he was in detention. I laugh about it now, but I was kind of mad then. And Mark, my friend, and I are peeking in the detention room. I had gone to the teacher who had detention and said, "Don't you make this fun for him. He needs to learn." And so we're peeking in there thinking, okay, are they talking? Is he writing about it? Are they just doing homework? We didn't know. But Mark thought it was hilarious. Now I do too, but I kind of looked at him and was like, yeah, he wishes he had a child in detention. He wishes he had a child to scold. Because every day is a chance to get it right. Every new morning is fresh mercy. So wherever you are on the timeline, God's got it. He created the timeline. Before you were in your mother's womb, he had a plan for you. We try to figure it out. We try to guess, but he knows. God is omnipresent. There's no past, present, or future with him. It's all now to him. We're created in his image. So we want to be conformed to him. We want to be like him. It doesn't come naturally. We worry about the past, what we should have said, what we should have done, and we freak out about the future, what is going to happen. And we forget there's a moment right here, right now, that we need to live in, and we need to make the most of and find our purpose in it. Which means if I have a crying child, I can thank God before he stops crying. If I have money problems, I can thank God for providing even before it happens, even when I still can't pay my bills. If I have relationship problems, I can thank God for reconciliation when I'm still in Act 2. God's got this. God's got me. God's got you. He's not surprised by any of it. We are here trying to live a spiritual life as imperfect humans. And we can help and encourage each other wherever we are. That means if I've been through something, I want to help you go through it better than I did. If I'm going through something, I'm going to find you, somebody that's on the other side of my Act 2, and get some encouragement from you. But God's got it all. There's no easy or hard with him. There's no better or worse with him. It's all possible. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it starts out with a beautiful poem. It's to everything there's a season. There's a time for everything under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to keep silence, a time to speak. That's the one that daily, a time to speak, a time to be silent. I work on that every day. But there is a time for everything. There's time for everything. It even says there's a time to keep and cast away. So in this quarantine, me decluttering my basement, there's a time to keep and cast away. It is written. But after that set of verses, the wise man continues in verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. I perceived that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live. So God's put eternity in our hearts so that we have hope for the future. But we can't find out what God's done from the beginning to the end. We can't figure it out. We've got to let it be. We've got to let go and let God. So we can live now with joy, just doing the next right thing, just like it says in Ecclesiastes 3. We can thank him now, before it's over. Are you worried about the future? Do you want to know when this is all going to be over? How it will end, if it will end? We want to know when we can finally gloriously drop our kids off somewhere and leave. Thank you, Grandma and Grandpa. We want to know when we can celebrate birthdays together or even mourn a death together. Some people are there and it's not easy, but God knows. He's been there. He is there. God declares the end from the beginning. He knows the ending. So we don't have to. I've said it before. Peace means not needing to know what happens next. Some of us couldn't handle knowing what would happen next. Either we would stave it off as long as we could and worry about it and lay awake at night, something that might or might not happen, or we would rush through this trying to get to something good. And we're missing this moment of purpose right here, right now. What is God saying to me now? It's his time. He makes all things beautiful in its time, in his time, whatever is ahead. He'll be right there, right on time, so we can take our now and thank him joyfully. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Take care of yourselves.